So, I heard you're looking for a go-to source for entertainment.
Wait for it.
Gaming?
Wait for it.
Anime?
Plus Ultra!
Mr. Eric Almighty and Phil the Filipino? Yeah, they've got you covered. And all you gotta do is wait for it. This is the Wait For It podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Wait For It podcast. I am your co-host, Phil Smith, aka Phil the Filipino. And joining me as always is your other co-host, Mr. Eric Almighty. And Eric, we have continued to keep this series going strong. We have just talked to so many awesome people that we've gotten to meet through pretty much all conventions. And you know, being part of this scene has just led us to so many cool people, so many neat relationships, and today will be no exception. So I am very, very excited to speak to our guest today.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really great. I mean, obviously, another excuse for us to just plug the great work being done at Nakama Anime Bar and Cafe. You know, we met a lot of great people, and one of the people that we really admired and we started to watch, and as he gracefully sung Peaches to the wonderful melody that was going on, we just had to get DJ Awesomus Prime on board. And DJ Prime Awesomus himself. Prime, how you doing tonight? And welcome on.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm doing all right. The Nakama thing definitely has kind of been a big driving force for me since I actually moved out to Jacksonville. So it's great to meet other like-minded people. So this is awesome.
Yeah, it's been really great. I love the new kind of community that's building from that. It's been really awesome. And, you know, we've been seeing you there. We started seeing you there regularly, obviously promotions, getting ready for the event. So it's been really nice to kind of see what you do on a daily basis. But on from our audience's standpoint, this is their first time meeting you. Let us know a little bit about what you do on a day-to-day basis, because this series, we talk about people that create things, and you create an atmosphere like no other. So we'd love to hear, and our audience would love to hear a little bit about what you do and why DJ Awesomus Prime is someone they should be paying attention to.
My name is Awesomus Prime. I'm a nerdy music producer and DJ. I now hail from Jacksonville, Florida. I moved down here a little over a year ago from New Jersey. I always get asked the question, why did you move here from New Jersey? And I'm kind of like, it's like lesser of two evils, I guess, in my opinion, right? Miss Jersey, though, the pizza's better. Anywho, I produce nerdy music and remixes of things that are popular, like on TikTok and stuff like that. And so I guess as far as my day-to-day base, like what I'm doing is mostly that. If I'm not doing that, I'm streaming on Twitch, gaming on Twitch, and then most of my weekends are filled with DJing, running karaoke at like Nakama, being a part of different conventions. You know, I actually frequently perform at conventions, anime conventions, Comic-Cons, video game conventions. It's kind of what I do. I kind of have my own special brand of what I do that most DJs that I've seen at conventions, especially running like the raves and everything, they're not doing it quite the way that I'm doing it, which is good because then that sets me apart from everybody else.
Yeah, that is great. And that's what stood out to us, was that this is a different vibe. This is a different environment. Phil, what was your kind of first introduction to Prime and, you know, that first impression? Because I definitely had a lasting one.
Yeah, you know, again, when we first started going to Nakama and, you know, kind of feeling it out, and, you know, it is out of the way for us. You know, we're on different sides of town. It's a good 30 to 45 minute drive. So going anywhere and spending your time, spending your money, and, you know, you want to go and hang out in an atmosphere that is welcoming and also a whole lot of fun. And Prime, that's definitely the atmosphere that you create every time, you know, we get to see it at Nakama, and it just adds to the already, you know, we already talked about the community that has already been built up there. So to have you being a part of that is great, and you do an awesome job whenever we get out there. I know my daughter has loved doing karaoke out at Nakama. She's always like,
awesome.
Can I stay longer? It's like, well, listen, we're going to kick you out at 10 o'clock. Okay.
Right.
We gotta go. But, you know, everybody that we bring there just has an absolute blast. And you've been a big part of that. I do have a question. So since you did come from up north, you know, and I will also, even though I never lived in the New York or New Jersey area, I can say that, you know, the pizza is much better up there. What is, for our locals, what's the closest thing? Who you're plugging for your pizza here in North Florida for those of us that are local?
The only place that I've actually found that I really like so far is what is the name of it? Brewer's Pizza. I think it's in Orange Park.
Brewers. Okay.
I believe that's what it's called. Yeah, so they have a full brewery as well as the pizza. There, the personal pan pizza that you can get, that's the one I recommend. It's a deep dish pizza, plethora of toppings, plus you can get their home brews, which I'm a big beer drinker. So having the option to be able to pick something fun off of the drink menu, as well as getting, my own little personal 9-inch, pan pizza. So far, that's been the best place.
Well, for those of you playing Wait For It Bingo, if you thought the first question was going to be about pizza, jackpot, you won. So congratulations.
Congratulations. Cheers.
Listen, I did not have that on there, but that's what makes podcasting so great. And one of the things I definitely want us to jump into is your experience going through DJing, going to these events. Obviously, there's so many different experiences. What kind of got you to the convention scene? I was very curious about that. I mean, I again saw you, Fan Expo, obviously NakamaCon, and so many other things. In fact, by the time this episode airs, WasabiCon will have happened. So here in Jacksonville, what kind of brought you to that scene specifically? Was that like a dream, an opportunity that fell out of the sky? What did that look like?
It was definitely a dream. I had started DJing back probably around the end of 2012. And it's something I've always wanted to do, and I just never picked it up. I went to school for theater, so I'm a performer at heart. I've always loved music. I grew up playing clarinet, taught myself guitar and bass, drums. I sing, the whole nine. So once I became a DJ, I was trying to grab things that were just different from what people were listening to just in the mainstream, and I stumbled across that people were actually making remixes of like my favorite cartoons, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or like Voltron or stuff like that. So I was like, oh man, I didn't know this was a kind of a thing. Now I've always been a very, very nerdy person. I have never grown up like I think a lot of us have. So I wanted to integrate my passion and love for comic books and video games and anime and all that stuff into what I do. And I was like, I wonder if like being a convention DJ is a thing. And pretty much what wound up happening was in my search, I found a person by the name of DJ Cutman. So shout out to Cutman, one of the greatest, I think, in my opinion, music producers and DJs that was kind of doing what I was doing, obviously with the Mega Man reference, but he comes out on stage with this full like shoulder pad, like cosplay setup with the Cutman helmet. It was the coolest thing. And I kind of just looked up to the guy and I was like, you know what, I want to do that. And a convention kind of fell into my lap. So it was kind of both, scenarios where it's something I always wanted to do. And what kind of sparked the interest is I did my very first like cosplay rave when I was living in Ohio. So I did that, and then I was like, let me figure this out. So I wound up doing this convention actually called Nerdtino Expo. That was my very, very first one. It's in Philadelphia, and I was still living in Jersey at the time. It actually was a convention dedicated to Hispanic and Latine creators, which I thought was really, really cool. It's open to everybody, so it wasn't like, if you're not this complexion, you can't come in. It wasn't anything like that. It very much was, listen, we just want to showcase and bring awareness to creators like this, which, it's funny. At that time, I was really, really heavy into comic books, and I learned that I feel like Hispanics kind of like held the market for comic creation. Like George Perez, freaking reinvented Wonder Woman and just is this legend that we all know. But like there's so many other artists and pencilers and the line work and the colorers that were just with these very, very Hispanic last names. And I'm like, wait a second, I feel like there's a lot of us in the comic book market. So it was really cool to be a part of that show and to be able to do things like that and showcase, part of my heritage. So I thought that was really, really cool. So that was the first one that kind of kicked it off. And then from there, it was just skyrocketed.
I think that's fantastic. And honestly, that's the thing about what you're doing too, is that you're bringing that kind of sense of community to the events, which I really like. There are, we've had some experiences, Phil. We're not going to, call anybody out, but, convention DJs don't always go the right direction. And Phil, I think where I'm going with that. And we just really appreciate the vibe that you bring to the table and that sense of community. But yeah, Phil, I think I'll leave it there before I start spilling tea.
No, that's good. That's my goal. So I'm glad that you guys picked up on it. Now, see, you're gonna have to tell me the story, I guess, after all this.
Yeah, we'll make it a Patreon thing.
Yeah, it'll be in our after credits. Remind
For those
us.
of y'all that are listening that aren't patrons and you want to hear the story, you can you can sign up. It is a wild one. I want to ask you about the karaoke because, I'm me being Filipino, huge part of our culture, obviously. Right. So that's why every chance we get, we're like, hell yeah, Prime is at night. I know what we're doing tonight.
Awesome.
What do you think it is about karaoke that gets even like the quietest people up out of their seat and they're like, I want to sing a song that I love? Like, what do you think it is that just like calls to somebody in their body that's like, I'm going to go up there and sing this song?
So I guess one obvious answer could be the alcohol, because sometimes that does break the inhibitions down a little bit.
Always
right?
helps, yeah.
I guess I think seeing other people have fun. I think that tends to be what brings people who want to, come on up. And a lot of times, one of the things I've noticed actually in Nakama when I'm running karaoke is somebody who's very shy, who came with a group of friends, typically will perform with their friend. Actually, I had this one group of friends. They had one friend who was very, very shy, didn't want to get up to sing. Also, just so happened that they were probably the best singer out of the group. Not that anybody was a bad singer, but they had this voice that I was not ready for. And they went up with their friends about 2-3 times, and then they finally came up to me at the end of the night and said, I want to do something by myself, but I don't want to tell my friends. I want to surprise them. I said, okay. So we put it together. I don't even remember what song it was now, which stinks because I was just standing there behind my DJ gear like, oh my God, this is so good. And yeah, they blew the place apart and everybody started, clapping and screaming. So I think a part of it could be just that reciprocation from the audience, which I completely understand. My better performances always work when I'm able to feed off the positive energy from everybody else. So I understand that feeling. So I think that's probably the major part of getting somebody shy to kind of come out of their shell a little bit.
It is always crazy. Like, again, you see that quiet person and then they belt Mariah Carey and you're like, what the hell? Why are you hiding this? Well, if you've ever wanted to see me, Eric, and my brother-in-law perform Mr. Mom, you guys missed out. So maybe we'll
I remember that.
we'll have an encore performance. So again, Eric, maybe they need to come check us out at Nakamana karaoke.
Yeah, no, I was just about to bring that up. It's so hilarious because that is one of those moments, and you made us feel like rock stars too. So I always love that aspect of what you do too, because it's not just about getting the vibe right, but also making everyone feel included. So I love that story about that person that felt comfortable enough to come up to you and say, hey, I want to surprise my friends. I want to sing a song. It's out of my comfort zone. Really speaks to you as a person. And that's fantastic. One of the things that we do know about you is from our comment section, which kind of started this whole thing, was you had a love of Scott Pilgrim. And
yes,
we had some opinions on that film. And you said you would love to talk about it. So I'd love to throw in some Scott Pilgrim talk. I know the anime's coming as well, which is super exciting. I know we are actually excited for it. Tell us a little bit about your passion behind that and what you thought of Scott Pilgrim. What are some of the things people should know if they haven't seen the movie?
So I guess we'll start with spoilers just in case. It's been out for quite some time now. And if you haven't had a chance to see it, I apologize. If you haven't read the book, I might be spoiling some of that too. I'm sorry. The way I found out about Scott Pilgrim as a whole actually is because of the film. I was at home searching on YouTube one day and I got that trailer that everybody was seeing that was on YouTube for the longest time. And I was like, this looks like the crazy, what is this? What is this? I have no idea. So like immediately I became obsessed with this trailer. More so than the trailer though, this is kind of just funny for me as a DJ. The song they used in that trailer was the song Invaders Must Die by The Prodigy, which is probably one of the groups that got me into EDM in general. I still love this song. But it was like the perfect vibe for what they were trying to cultivate with the trailer and kind of bringing all that stuff. So in my research of me trying to find out what the hell is Scott Pilgrim, what is this whole thing, I found out that it is a comic, graphic novel, manga, however you want to consider it, drawn by Brian Lee O'Malley. who I actually got to meet at NYCC back in the day. Super, super nice. I know some people have had kind of hit or miss interactions with him, but I kind of think around that time he was going through a lot because he was, still finishing the final book. The movie was in production. There was a lot of stuff, going on in his world. But he was very, very nice. He took a picture with me. He actually autographed and drew a quick little Ramona Flowers in my volume 6, which is the final book in the whole series. And that's kind of where like my obsession started. And then we got the game for PS3 and 360 and all that, which side-scrolling beat-em-up games like Streets of Rage is probably one of my favorite game series of all time. So the fact that they made the game in that style was just the chef's kiss for me. As far as the movie, I thought that the movie was perfect for what the movie was going to be. There was definitely instances where I feel that we could have gone a different direction or we could have done a little more, but I also understand why we excluded a lot of things. Like my favorite character in the entire series is such a side throwaway character. She's not in the movie. So I'm hoping we put her in the anime because she's kind of crucial to Scott's like development. So we'll go from there. I was really hopeful that the fight between Scott and Todd Ingram, Evil X3, was going to be more like the way it is in the book. For those of you who've never had a chance to read the book, or if you play the game kind of follows the same thing. They don't just fight Todd. It's the whole band versus almost the whole band. So it becomes this crazy fight between Envy, Todd, and I forget the drummer's name. Holy smokes. Anywho, so the Clash of Demon Head versus Scott and Ramona. Knives, I think, gets involved at one point because she's trying to fight Ramona. It becomes just this crazy epic like fight in general. And the one thing that I love is the drummer from Clash of Demon Head has a bionic arm. That's like the one thing about her. And she's out there just wrecking house with this crazy arm that she can like extend and stuff. And I was really hoping that we were going to get that in the movie, and we didn't. We kind of just glossed over her as a character. She doesn't talk in the book, but like she looked exactly the way she was supposed to in the live action. That's one scene that I really would have liked to see. I thought the soundtrack was perfect, but they always had the soundtrack. I'm really, so the one thing I was kind of sad about, the music in the movie is perfect, but they didn't technically do the songs from the book, because if you read the book, Brian Lee O'Malley actually has written the songs for Sex Bob-omb, even gives you the chords and everything. And the first song that they open the movie with, it's called Launchpad McQuack, which, you know the reference, congratulations, you're old like us. So I was very sad that technically wasn't the song they did, but like it was at the same time. But yet, freaking Crash and the Boys, we could do their songs, jerks.
You know what? The one thing I'll say is that with live action adaptations, you win some, you lose some, right? Like I definitely feel like that is a give and take. You know, a couple things you said too. Wasn't expecting to hear you talk about the Prodigy. I'm not going to pretend to be the biggest Prodigy fan, but the song I always remember is Firestarter.
It's a good one.
It's a good one. It's a good one. It's a song. Feels like what? Who the fuck are you? He's never heard me talk about the Prodigy.
No, never.
The Prodigy.
Never mentioned that.
Firestarter.
Phil, this is not one of those moments where I'm making shit up. I'm actually genuinely talking about Firestarter by the Prodigy. But you know, it's interesting that you mentioned like how you remember the trailer and how that kind of plays into it as well. And then, you know, you dive into those other areas. Like with us, we just watched it for the first time literally this year. And it never been involved at all in that world with those characters. But we definitely knew something was special, and we could understand why it was kind of like a cult classic. Mm-hmm. But we also understand on the flip side why it could potentially work as an anime. So you mentioned a couple of things that you were excited for with the anime. Mm-hmm. Is that something that you think is going to be a good medium for it? Like instead of it just being like live action TV show, do you think anime gives it that extra flexibility it needs?
I think anime is probably the perfect avenue for the story. The story already is over the top. There are people that are ninjas or half ninjas. There's people that have superpowers. There's the whole what is it? The I'm drawing a blank on the whole portal that they can travel through, everything, that whole dimensional, space that Ramona's able to travel. Gideon, the fight between our final evil X in the movie is beautiful. It's beautifully choreographed. It has some amazing moments. It has moments where you grit your teeth at how much you despise this evil X. Like that, it just so beautiful. But in the book, it is so much worse. The only thing that I can tell you, and this is the best way to kind of give you an idea, is that Gideon at the end of the book series is Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII. It is absolutely insane. And I understand why we didn't go that route. 2 reasons. One, because he was literally finishing the book while they were making the movie. But then on the other aspect, I think it would have completely thrown people off to go that direction. But it makes sense in the book, because once they get to that point, they explain a lot of stuff. And that kind of like wrap up doesn't really happen in the movie, which is okay. I feel that there's a couple things that are going to read extremely well as far as the anime goes, and making it episodic also allows them to expand upon the story like big time, because there's so much that happens in the books that we don't really get to see. There's more that we get with Kim Pine, who happens to be one of my all-time favorite characters, that, she was just the drummer that, also used to date Scott, but we don't get why they dated or how they dated. Now, Adult Swim did make a quick little like prequel anime type thing that kind of explained that. But there's more that kind of happens into the story as well. So I'm hoping that the anime, the action sequences I think are going to be there. I think they're going to be on point. I think they know exactly what the hell they're doing, but I'm hoping that we expand upon the actual story. I think that's the reason I'm the most excited, because I read the books before I saw the movie. So it's one of the few book series that I actually like. I read the whole thing almost the night before I saw the movie, opening day actually in New York City. So kind of obsessed with the series. I'm sorry. So much so, shameless plug if I may. The weekend before the anime comes out, I'm actually dropping a Scott Pilgrim themed album.
Yes,
Hell
there
yeah.
we go. We love the shameless plugs. You're on here. Yeah,
Yep.
Shameless plug away. And everything we plug too, we'll make sure will also be in the show notes, so you guys can make sure to follow along. You always got a bunch of stuff going on, Prime. So the fact that we even got to schedule this in the first place was awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, one of the things, and Eric and I expressed this in our review, in that series that we watched, Scott Pilgrim. It's called Late to the Party because we're watching a bunch of films that we have just missed out on for whatever reason, and I came away just really not liking Scott as a person, and I think that's where a lot of the disconnect was for me. Does that change in the book, or is it going to be the same in the anime? Like, am I not meant to like him?
Here's the problem. The funny thing is in the movie, he's a lot more likable. You want to like Scott.
Oh, no.
You want to like Scott, but Scott is not a good person.
Okay. One of those. Okay, got it.
But I think the reason it's endearing is because he doesn't realize that he's not a good person. Like this whole, because if we're being honest about it, I love Scott and Ramona. They're great main characters, because you want that love story. But Scott and Ramona are toxic people.
Right.
Like very, very much. And the funny thing is I've had this conversation with a lot of people where they're like, Scott's a really toxic person. You're like, oh yeah, no, he's the main character, but he's not meant to be liked. I think you're meant to identify with these characters, and everybody kind of has somebody that they identify with, but you're not really entirely meant to like him. I think we're kind of forced to like him because he is the main character. Because when you watch a series, you want to root for the main character. I guess like if you guys watch a lot of anime, Hellsing, we want to like this character, and we do because he's the OP main character, but he's not a good person. So it's kind of right. Those are the best anime characters.
Yeah. Any character time you have when you write a layered character like that is what you want, is anybody can write a goody two shoes,
right.
That's not difficult to do. So I think that's probably why, and again, Eric Deku is probably one of our least favorite characters in My Hero, because he's kind of lame, but all the other characters that have daddy issues and anger issues and everybody else, those are way more interesting characters to like.
You're like, Deku, no, forget that guy. Batman, yes.
Joker, sure.
Absolutely.
We'll hear him out. Like, good thing we don't live in Gotham City. We'd be way too easily persuaded.
Right. You're like, Black Mask, that's a good guy.
This riddle's pretty good though. So let's hear what he has to say.
Oh man, yeah. No, I definitely think the anime is going to be good. There's so much in anime that is just special out there, and I can't wait to see the addition of it. Prime, let's talk a little bit about some of those other areas of pop culture as well, and then we'll kind of talk a little bit about what we've got going on together in November.
Yes.
And I want to kind of focus on, like, for anime specifically, like, obviously that's a good part of your DJ experience too, especially at Nakama. You play the classics, you play ones people don't quite know. You do a nice mixture there. What are some of, like, the real, like, if we were to talk about your intro to anime, what did that kind of look like? And what are some of those passion projects that you watch still, or that you've been watching now, that are, like, really integral to your anime experience?
So follow-up question. A good jump off point for people that don't watch anime? Is that kind of what you're...
Yeah, really just in general of, like, your experience, and, like, if people were to jump on, yeah, absolutely.
For me, the ones that kind of brought me in, I always say Dragon Ball Z, but the funny thing is Dragon Ball Z is not even the first anime I ever watched. In technicality, Voltron, which is actually based off Go Lion, is the actual name of the anime. And then My Neighbor Totoro was my very first movie that I ever watched. And then Dragon Ball Z kind of started this whole idea of, I guess, this genre, this medium that I just was kind of intaking. And then from there, I saw Ghost in the Shell, Akira, and what was the other one? There's like one more that I always forget to mention, that kind of, like, those were the ones that kind of solidified, this is what I like. This is exactly what I'm into. But Toonami really is kind of what cultivated, I think, my full, like, obsession with anime, because Robotech was the very first one that I ever started watching on there. Then they brought us Gundam Wing, and Dragon Ball Z was on there, which was cool because that's when we finally got the Namek saga. Because up until that point, we'd only had the Saiyan saga that they were airing on TV since, like, 1996 or something, like, over and over and over. And I was watching Beast Wars anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for me, I kind of feel like the big ones that really solidified my passion for it were probably Robotech, Gundam Wing, Dragon Ball Z. Sailor Moon, Tenchi Muyo, Trigun, a lot of those kind of kept, me going. My all-time favorite, my dude right here, Lupin the Third. I am obsessed with Lupin the Third. I didn't realize that Lupin was probably my favorite anime until recently, just this year. I really sat down and thought about it. Because one of the ones I've always told people my favorite anime of all time is this really old anime that nobody's probably ever heard of. It's called Devil Hunter Yoko. It's really, really good. If you go to watch it now, fair warning, it is cringe as hell. But I really, really like it. I guess think Sailor Moon meets Demon Slayer and kind of just this fusion of that. Yeah, it's good. But right now, if you've never watched an anime, some of the ones that are coming out right now, I think are really, really good. I really enjoy Demon Slayer, but then again, I really like shonen style anime, so I didn't think that I was not going to like it. It already looked visibly beautiful, so I was like, no, Demon Slayer's going to be the one. So I love Demon Slayer. I'm actually finally caught up. It's so good. I don't know where we're going from here, but I'm ready for it. I really like Spy Family. Spy Family's good. Actually, I got a canvas on my wall for my buddy Kawhi Satori actually staring at me with the family.
Hey,
plug to Chris over at Kawhi Satori.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I'll pull it down real quick. Here you go, so Chris knows it happened.
Is it the? Yeah, I love that one. That one's so good.
With the peanuts, because she can totally eat peanuts. I guess this will just chill here now.
I was gonna say you probably pulled that down without thinking about that.
No, I mean I can see the hook. I just getting it back up. There's gonna be pieces of blood. So those are some really good ones. I like Chainsaw Man. And one that I just got into, actually my wife is the one that kind of was like, hey, you got to watch this. And it was kind of like on my radar, but after she was like, no, you need to watch this, is Zom 100.
Yes, so good.
Zom 100 is very, very good. I love zombie stuff. It's probably my favorite like horror genre, but George A. Romero specifically, because he didn't write stories for the sake of just zombies being zombies. It was the human connection or disconnection that we as a species go through when dealing with this type of crisis. And the crazy thing is I almost feel that COVID-19 kind of proved it, right? And it's a little insane to kind of analyze those things like that sometimes. But yes, animes that I'm obsessed with right now, Gundam. It's always Gundam. I got my Gundam models on my desk right now. See if we can hang this back up. Maybe.
That's right. Build those Gundam Sundays, I believe it is.
Yeah. The last one I did was my dude Heavy Arms from Gundam Wing. This is my favorite Gundam of all time. I would say close first place because I don't know who I like more, but from the new series Witch of Mercury, Ariel is just such a beautiful
Ariel gang.
design. I love Ariel so much.
This is not going to help our patron Stefan, who said specifically at our last convention, don't let me buy any Gundams, because he's like very slowly getting into that as a new hobby, and I'm like, you should do it, Stefan. You do whatever you do whatever you like.
You do whatever you like.
Live.
Yeah, no, the Witch from Mercury is actually my first Gundam show that I've ever actually watched.
Wow.
Like, I've always seen the old Gundam, but I never really got into anime. Like Dragon Ball Z was my thing, but I didn't really know what that meant back then. So like Gundam, I always saw it. But yeah, Witch from Mercury was great. My brother actually that we're talking about is going to build me a Gundam, an Ariel. So
nice.
Because I am too lazy. I will not do it. So I've drawn the line in the sand, but I really want one. So we made a deal.
I will say Ariel was probably one of the more profanity-inducing models that I've put together. Okay. So I'm glad you're not the one putting it together.
Feel good. Yeah. That makes me feel great about it.
There's some pieces on her, yeah, and that's just the high grade. So that's like the base model. So if they're building you like a master grade or something bigger, I'm so sorry. If you're listening and watching this, I'm so sorry.
You made a good point though, Prime, because and Eric, I've been saying this for like as long as we've had guests on. Like I'm a pretty casual anime fan, but I feel like I've moved up to like the intermediate level.
Okay.
Because I find a lot of shows that I watch on my own now. I used to just heavily rely on Eric, but now I've gone out of my way to find shows that I really enjoy. And I think if you guys agree with it, I think this is the best time to be an anime fan ever. I think everything is accessible.
Yes.
Everything is easy to get to, and there's something for everybody. I mean, you talk about Spy Family. Like my daughter swore, I don't like anime. There's nothing like, she loves Spy Family. Actually, at last year's WasabiCon, she got your Forger's autograph on a print.
Oh,
so
nice.
She has that up in her room. So like, there's something for everybody, and it's a genre that, it used to be very niche, but it's so mainstream now in a good way. And I think this is one of those few ways where you can see something become mainstream, and it's good because people are now finding themselves opening them up to stories and characters that they previously did not know existed and can really relate to. So I think you're making a good point, because again, it's more accessible than ever, and a really great time to be a fan.
Yeah, it's not us, going to these like comic book shops that existed in a mall that was dying, going through like VHS boxes, man. I have animes that I've watched that I only have seen maybe like the middle 3 episodes of a series, because that's all I could get my hands on. Like Burn Up Warrior, not an anime everybody knows or has even ever heard of. That's okay. It was a fun series, but like I'm pretty sure I watched episode 4, 5, and 6 because that's all that existed on this one VHS that I owned back in the day. But yeah, I'm very happy. I'm also happy that it's so mainstream that we're kind of past the stigma for the most part of it being childish or,
Right.
Why are you watching cartoons? You should just grow up. I'm sitting here with a Yu Yu Hakusho shirt on. Like, come on now.
Well, I like it's always interesting because like how can anime be childish, but also the same crowd goes to a Disney film and balls their eyes out? Like they can both exist.
Like they could
and both-
justify it, I guess, because it's Disney.
Right, yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Come on,
it's all about that mouse, man. That mouse
Right.
runs a lot of
it's all about
a lot
the
of
mouse.
shit. So
Yeah, and like I said, I think it is one of those things, like you mentioned, Phil, that get everybody in it. Fun story here, because I've started my One Piece journey, which is
God.
I'm sorry.
it is a
Is this
trek.
the 5th episode in a row where I think every single creator spotlight you've talked about One Piece?
I just think it's worth bringing up.
I don't think it is.
I'm very early on into it, no, but I do bring it up for this reason. So now my wife and my son they expressed interest very minimally and just kind of said it. So now we're watching it.
No.
And we get to this episode where spoilers for One Piece from the 1990s. Like early on, there's this dog called Choo Choo, and basically, long story short, goes to commercial break, but you think the dog died. My son almost broke out into tears. Like, he doesn't normally get moved by stuff like that, but he's really made a connection with Luffy specifically as
That
a
makes
character, and kind of getting those connections, and then now seeing this dog getting introduced. Like,
God.
it is one of those things. I think people are so passionate about anime in general, and that's one of the things to tie it back to Nakama, and really what we're going to be doing in November is the first con for Nakama Con in November, November 4th and 5th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And I kind of want to talk a little bit about like what we're going to be doing there, what to expect. You are the host.
Yes.
As well. So do you have a little bit of an idea? Like, what do you have up your sleeve that you can tell us about to get people excited?
Well, I know that we're definitely going to have some music brought to you by myself and possibly one of the other DJs actually from the bar, my buddy DJ Germ, because I know that we wanted him to be involved, and I would love for him to be there and be a part of this. We also have the Limit Breakers, who are a Jacksonville-based video game rock band. If you've never seen these guys live, they are phenomenal. I actually just did a show with them on October 4th. And they blew the roof off the place, and I get to hype listening to them. So I did my DJ set first. It was like cool. There was another band called Limousine that went on. They were freaking amazing. They were like a synthwave, like very much 80s vibe type group. Loved their whole thing. And then the Limit Breakers took the stage, and everybody that was there stopped sitting down, and they all ran up to the stage. And I was just like, all right, first of all, this makes me feel good that people like you guys this much and that they came here for you. And second, I'm so glad they're up here because now I'm not alone where I'm dancing around like an idiot. So they're going to be rocking out with us. I know that we are doing a giveaway for a Nintendo Switch at the convention. I know that we have tons of vendors that are going to be amazing. One of the cool things I know that we're doing, because it is advertised, is that the Pokemon League that is hosted at Nakama on Wednesdays, I believe it is, they're actually going to be doing a League 4 tournament or like free play type thing. So if you play TCG, please come on out and challenge these guys. I believe they're supposed to be having their own badges to give you guys, something that me and Sean had talked about. So now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm going to make sure that's actually a thing. So there's a lot kind of going on that is going to be a lot of fun. It's first time. It's a 2-day, show. I'm really excited to see everybody. There was talks of having a Gundam building like station. So that was kind of my suggestion because I thought that would be kind of cool. We have a table for everybody if they want to bring their own Gunpla, or we'll have some there. I was trying to see if we can get a hold of some of the beginner kits because they make. Where's he at? Bandai actually makes beginner kits that are like a level below just the regular one. So this is good old classic Gundam RX-78-2, one of my all-time favorites. But the plastic's already colored. I didn't paint that, and he probably went together in about 25-30 minutes. Versus like
not bad.
6 hours it took me to do aerial. Actually, no, 8 hours.
God, it sounds like an absolute pain.
It's
but
wild.
It is pretty cool that they do those things at Nakama and kind of some of the things there. And it's going to be, NakamaCon is going to be right across the road from the anime bar and the cafe. So even if you're not going to the convention, there's a lot to be able to do. But just to kind of plug it, for Sean, friend of the show, and who's been really great to us every time that we've been there. This is going to be taking place again November 4th and 5th. It's going to be at the Holiday Inn & Suites on 620 Wells Road in Orange Park. So definitely make sure to be there. Hosted by Awesomus Prime. Performances by the Limit Breakers. And you heard a little bit about it just now. So many things, 30 plus vendors, speaking panels. There will also be a guest as well that will be appearing. So come support a local con starting up for the first time. And we know a little bit about that, right, Phil? We started off at the first year Bull Matsuri in Jacksonville and the first year Brick City Anime Festival in February. So we're excited to be a part, and Beta Quest, can't leave them out.
Yep, Beta Quest.
But we really like being a part of these. Yeah,
I'm not
he's
going to
miss Nakamura.
Speaking of the mouse, I'm going to be at freaking Disney World for my daughter's birthday. I mean, sure. It's like, if you would have told me that I was going to Disney World 2 times in 1 year, I would have been like, you're full of shit. I don't believe you. I'm just not looking forward to it, but oh well. I'll get drunk at Epcot.
There you go.
But yeah, we'll have that. We'll play that graphic, and we'll go ahead and again have that link in the show notes as well if you'd like to purchase your tickets. By the time this episode comes out, there'll be a few more weeks left before the event. With that being said, Prime, we're gonna jump into a little bit of fun to kind of wrap up the episode here. And we've got a couple of things to do. So Phil's got a Would You Rather, and then I've got a game that we've played once on the show. Shout out to your friendly neighborhood gamers who gave us the idea, played it with us once. I think they stole it from another podcast. So we're just doing the same thing. And we're going to jump into a game where we take the IMDb Parents Guide and we go off of those descriptions for you to figure out the movie and or show.
Oh, God. All right.
Super exciting stuff. Now, I've picked a couple of films, shows, and or animes that even if you haven't watched them, you should still be able to, at some point, be able to make the determination. And really here, guys, we're just going to play it for fun and see for bragging rights who walks out with the most. So, our first one that we're going to do here, and let me pull it up. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do here, I'm going to give you the clue of if it's a film or a show. It is a film.
Okay.
And we're going to start off with sex and nudity.
Nice.
For the Parents Guide, there's none. A girl wears a short, revealing shirt.
Ooh.
Violence and gore is mild. And if you happen to know what it is, feel free to throw out any guesses. During the massive fight between the characters and the clones, one of the characters and clones are shown taking turns slapping each other.
Pokemon the movie.
That's crazy. That is crazy. It is Pokemon the first movie.
The first movie. That is exactly what that is.
That is.
I was like, hold up. It's not Ahsoka. I don't remember a slap fight.
That was really good. Profanity, none. Mild language in the Japanese version only. No alcohol, drugs, or smoking. Yeah, and then frightening, intense scenes, if you're curious, is mild. And that's where I was going to save where Mewtwo wakes up and slaughters all the scientists who killed him.
Right.
The killings are all off screen.
Which I think in the Japanese version is a lot more graphic than what we got here in the States. At least that's what I've heard. But yeah, I haven't seen it myself.
Yeah, I've never seen it either.
Yeah, and then if you guys still couldn't figure it out, I always had Ash turning to stone to,
That too. Yeah.
All right, so good first one here. Let's go ahead and jump into another one. And for this one, this is also going to be a film. And it is rated PG for action and mild violence.
PG.
Sex and nudity, none.
Okay.
Violence and gore is mild. There are depictions of characters being punched, kicked, scratched, and attacked using supernatural abilities. Profanity, there's none. Nothing really, just mild name calling. Alcohol, drugs, and smoking is none. It is a movie. It is. And then frightening and intense scenes is mild. There are many scenes in which the main characters are in peril, including chases, mild scares, and thrill, but not over the top.
Yeah, like a Scooby-Doo movie?
No.
Not Scooby-Doo. Not Scooby-Doo. You're not exactly in the wrong direction, though.
In chases, you said? They're involved in chases?
They're involved in chases.
A movie.
A couple of additional hints. We'll go back to violence and gore, which again is mild. A dog is trying to attack our main two characters, and they manage to stop him by trapping him in the shower.
I have
Trapping
no
him in the
idea.
shower?
Mm-hmm.
Trapping him in the
Ghostbusters.
shower.
No, that does not happen. And it's not Scooby Doo.
I was gonna say, are you sure it's not Scooby Doo?
It's not.
Man,
Here's another hint from frightening and intense scenes. This movie is a bit edgier than the games when it comes to cartoon violence, scares, name calling, and bullying. It's also surprising that the movie used to be bright, colorful, and funny or lighthearted.
Is it Resident Evil?
No, now you're going in the wrong direction. We were closer
Okay.
with Scooby-Doo.
Closer with Scooby-Doo.
What?
Let's try another one here in violence and gore. For this one, I will go ahead and use that the main character does a training obstacle course and fails miserably.
Fails miserable. What the hell is this?
It is as another hint here, and this will be a hint to help out. It is a newer film.
Does an obstacle course, fails miserably.
Okay.
Traps
Here's
a dog in the shower.
Yeah, that's why I'm stuck.
You're going to get mad probably when you know it, especially if you've seen the film. So here's another hint. This one may give it. There is a scene where one of our main characters is captured by the villain and tortured with pulling hair out of his mustache, then getting locked in a
Is
cage
it
with a
Super
fiery
Mario?
ball. It is.
Oh
It is
my god.
When the hell did they trap her? Oh, the dog in the beginning.
the
Yeah.
dick
When
dog.
they're
Yeah.
yes.
Yep.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Oh my
Wow,
gosh.
that description is so vague.
Oh
my
Parents
God.
Guide. Yeah.
yeah.
these
Interesting.
parents not really helping us out there.
Nope. They're like eat
That
for
was good.
everyone. Nope.
It's funny.
All right, so we are 1-1 apiece. This is good. This is good. This is going exactly.
That
We had
was-
one really easy one, and then one super difficult one.
That one was bad.
That was bad. All right, we're gonna go ahead and jump into our next film here. This is a movie.
Said film, so
Yeah, that would give. Wait, fuck off. Sex and nudity is none. Violence and gore is mild. There is the villain punching one of our heroes in the face multiple times, and the hero gets some scars, which is very upsetting. Profanity is mild. 4 uses of hell and 8 uses of damn. 1 shout out loud in frustration.
Okay.
Alcohol, drugs, and smoking is mild. There are 2 scenes that show teen drinking, smoking, gambling, and fighting. A man tells 2 kids that whatever they want to do, they can do it. They then ask for cigarettes. The scene is very reminiscent of Pleasure Island from Pinocchio. Frightening and intense scenes. A fire starts in an apartment.
Fire starts in an apartment.
So a couple of hints so far.
Okay. Is this
Drawing a
Spider-Man?
blank.
Into
Ooh.
the Spider-Verse?
No,
Across
not
the
Spider-Man.
Spider-Verse? No? Okay.
Nope. Going back to violence and gore, a man beats up a teenager, but the boy lives.
Again, you're sure it's not Spider-Man?
I'm sure. Frightening and
Scooby-Doo?
no, it's not
Is it
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo? It's Scooby-Doo.
That'd be pretty fucked up. Frightening and intense scenes. The villain is very intimidating, and their
that
death
helps.
is unsettling.
Tarzan.
No,
It's funny because I was gonna go Beauty and the Beast, but that's same death right there.
Yeah,
not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty
Not
similar.
bad. I will tell you guys, this one is an older film.
Okay.
And another hint, we'll go back up to violence and gore. One of our main characters is jumped and beaten up on the rooftop of another character's apartment, leading to being tossed through a skylight and being put in a coma for a portion of the film. He wakes up okay later, but the fight itself is very intense, and the uncertainty of his recovery could
Guardians
be
of
scary
the Galaxy?
for young
Volume
viewers.
3?
No.
No? Okay.
Who the heck
Okay.
gets chucked through a window?
Yeah.
Thrown through a window and put in a coma?
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, Prime, I picked this one
For
specifically
me?
after scoping through your Instagram, so
Oh,
you
no.
should know this one.
Uh-oh. Thrown through a window and put in a coma?
They're allowed to do whatever they want. Oh man, now I'm like, what movies have I posted about? What have I seen? Older movies.
So, another
Older
hint, this may
film.
give it away, frightening and intense scenes. The villain dies in the end and falls to his death, crushed by a garbage scoop.
Ninja Turtles? No.
Teenage Mutant
Teenage
Ninja
Mutant
Turtles,
Turtles.
the 1990
Oh.
film.
Yeah.
It is Teenage Mutant Ninja
That's
Turtles.
terrible. That's how I had to get it. Yeah. That's Secret of the Ooze. No, the first one, yeah, because that's how he goes out. And then he comes back,
Yep.
Super Shredder, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Damn.
If that hint didn't give it, I was gonna just tell you guys they were turtles. So
So, yeah, no, they do chuck him through a window.
yeah, and then he's in a coma. And then
Yeah.
the teens, it is very reminiscent of Pleasure Island from Pinocchio. It is kind of
Which parent wrote out similar to Pleasure Island from Pinocchio?
I don't know. It is questionable.
Very
to say the
damn.
least.
All right.
All
That's a
right.
hell of a description.
That is. All right, we've got another one here. This one is going to be an anime. So
Okay.
whether or not you've watched it, you should at some point be able to know what this anime is. So, for this anime, sex and nudity is mild. Many male characters are shown shirtless.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
That's a great
All-
guess. I had a
all of
feeling
them.
that was going to come. All of them.
Every anime ever.
Violence and gore is severe.
Hell yeah.
People's severed and disfigured bodies are shown.
Severed in this figure. Okay. Again, not trimming it down very much.
Profanity, it says mild, but I gotta be honest, every cuss word I can think of is on here. So I'm gonna change that to severe because it's not mild.
It's not
so
Castlevania,
just-
right?
It is not,
Okay,
but not a bad guess.
right.
Alcohol, drugs, and smoking, there is none. Some people occasionally drink. And then frightening and intense scenes is severe. One of our characters gets bullied multiple times. It's very heartbreaking and intense.
It's not Zom 100, is it?
It is not.
Baki.
All right. Let's go ahead and jump into a couple of more hints here. And we'll go back up to sex and nudity. Okay, I just find this one kind of funny. I don't know that it's going to give it away, but a character calls another character's mom a slutty concubine. I don't think that's going to give it away. I just wanted to say slutty concubine.
Using it.
Violence and gore is severe. The main character headbutts one of the villains multiple times to bloody pulp and then roundhouse kicks his face.
Roundhouse kick.
Anime?
It is an anime.
Headbutts to a bloody pulp.
Frightening and intense scenes, again severe. One of the villains that controls heat sets a bunch of people on fire in a restaurant. One of the waitresses try to run away, but ultimately dies from combustion.
This might be something I haven't seen.
I will tell you, it's a
heat.
very well-known anime.
And
Controls
it's not
heat?
JoJo's.
Bleach? Does that
No,
happen in
not-
Bleach?
I'll tell you this, definitely the closest guess you're gonna get to it not being it. That's another hint.
Blue Exorcist.
No,
Is
what
it-
the
is it-
fuck?
It's not My Hero, is it?
I just love Blue Exorcist.
No, but it is a modern shonen.
Okay. Is it Demon Slayer?
Fire Force.
Back
What
to
else do
sex
we
and
got?
back to sex and nudity. Overall, the anime is pretty clean. Some male characters lose their clothes in a fight due to transformations. It is implied that they're fully naked, but their torso is shown. Back to alcohol, drugs, and smoking. Some people occasionally smoke. And then frightening and intense scenes. There are demons and creatures throughout the show that could be scary and visually unsettling to some viewers.
Jujutsu Kaisen?
Ooh,
It is Jujutsu
yeah.
Kaisen.
Yep.
That it is. It is Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah, again, the closest thing you're going to get to Bleach. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh God.
That was solid. Okay, we're at 2-2. This is going to be the tiebreaker for our game. So, this is going to be a TV series. And we are going to jump into, let me pull up that parent's guide. All right. Sex and nudity for this show. No nudity, nothing whatsoever, not even a kiss, just sexual tension.
Oh, good.
Friends. Oh wait, there's,
No,
lots of kissing in Friends.
There's a lot
Never
of
mind.
kissing. Violence and gore is moderate. We see a man get cut in half. The action happens off screen, but his legs are briefly seen after it occurs.
Sweet.
Is it the Squid
Profanity?
Games?
No, not Squid Games. No, I think that would be pretty severe. Profanity is none. There's a couple of curse words like damn and hell used throughout the series. Ass is used a couple times. Jackass is used once, so nothing too crazy. Alcohol, drugs, and smoking, there is none. Frightening and intense scenes is moderate, and a monster vomits pretty much continuously for 2 minutes.
Ugh.
Pretty
2 minutes?
2 minutes. Coming back up to the top here, violence and gore. There is the main character has a rifle and shoots another man. The man is instantly disintegrated.
It's like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Is it the Mandalorian?
It is the Mandalorian.
Damn it.
Very good job. And for the win, Prime, very good job. You got the bragging rights. You know the IMD Parents Guide.
By like what? No, because I was like, wait, disintegrate. I was like, there's only one thing that
Yeah,
I've
that's what I
watched
was
recently.
thinking of. Like,
Yeah,
what could
because
that possibly be?
the rifle that's the whole reason that thing was outlawed. Like the Jedi didn't allow that to be used. And
I wanted to do something Star Wars. Phil hasn't seen Ahsoka, so I went for the Mandalorian here. So very, very good. I love playing that
That's
game.
crazy.
Always a lot of fun. And appreciate you entertaining us, letting us get entertained there, Prime.
No, it was good.
Phil,
Man.
I know, right? Once you realize it, it is frustrating.
Yeah, you're like Super
Always,
Mario
every
Come
time.
on.
That one
Every
took a
time.
lot longer.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, about halfway through, I was like, I did not anticipate the challenges that have presented themselves. I was for sure when I brought up the fact that it was off of a game that somebody was going to get it.
See, and I was going through all the games in my head. I'm like, oh, it's not Halo. That doesn't make sense.
That's why I thought of Resident Evil. I was like, because of the dogs. I was like,
Yeah,
is
once you
it-
brought up
is it
Resident Evil,
that?
I was like, I think we've made a mistake.
A wrong turn somewhere. Yeah, we made a wrong turn.
Phil, but to
at
kind
some
of wrap
point.
things up here, as we wrap up the episode, you have a would you rather, a couple would you rather scenarios.
Yeah.
Let's jump into it. Get to know Prime a little bit more. Some of these can be easy. Some of these can be very thought provoking. So let's
right.
jump into it.
Yeah, I'll start off with, I only have one nerdy one because honestly, the ones that are not nerdy are a lot more fun because they're weirder. So let's go with that one. Actually, we'll just piggyback off of Star Wars. Would you guys rather have a lightsaber or a Harry Potter wand in real life?
Lightsaber, hands down.
Yeah, lightsaber,
Lightsaber.
100%.
Here's the thing, okay? I'm very clumsy, and if I feel like I would like drop it and like slice off my leg on accident. At least if I mess up a spell, like it just doesn't work.
You would
So
need a
that was,
safety
like-
on for the lightsaber because you would turn it on
Right.
accidentally and like.
Oh
just-
no, absolutely. And
Yeah.
just
Oh god.
impale myself. I'm just too clumsy for a
Well,
lightsaber. I
they
think I would
do-
have to go with wand.
There are settings on it though that turn down the intensity of how much it can cut and said it'll just burn really bad.
That doesn't make me feel better.
Would you rather
honestly. I
lose the
feel
limb
like-
or just burn it? Like,
I'd rather have the wand, I think.
I feel like I do feel like you'd lose the wand though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It would fall in like the wrong hands.
put it on your
Also,
bed,
you-
sit on it.
You know, it's not as simple as Hogwarts Legacy. You actually have to say it right. You'd be.
Like someone just
Oh
gives me
my
the
god!
someone gives me the wrong change and I just curse them.
Oh man.
Holy
Probably-
shit!
Probably not be a great
No.
neither one, honestly. I shouldn't have either, actually, is what I have come to the conclusion to. All right, let's go to one that's a little bit deeper here. Would you rather be able to tell your past self one thing or ask your future self one thing? Or ask your future self one question, I should say. So tell your past self one thing, ask your future self one question.
I feel like they're almost the same question. Would you rather young self ask you present self question, or you ask future self question? So it's the same thing, just where in the timeline.
I guess if you ask your past self, or you tell your past self that one thing, you get to take advantage of it sooner, I guess.
The way I look at it, this is a little too deep, but if you do tell your past self something, you want to change something about your life now. And if you tell your future self something, you want to change something, obviously to better yourself in the future. Yeah. So I guess it would depend. Is there something you want to change now or in the future? I would say, because one little thing could change everything. And, I don't have my son.
Hot time machine.
I'm going to go future and not mess up the timeline. What's done is done. I'm going to just ask the winner of the next 10 Super Bowls and just make it big. I'm going to do what you can't do, Phil. I'm going to bet and I'm going to win.
Okay, well, that you didn't have to throw in my gambling addiction. That's kind of
it is fairly new.
No, I kind of went deep in thought as well. I think I would rather ask my future self a question, because if I go back and tell past self something, that's obviously going to set off a different strain of future that when I return, I could potentially return to a different, present.
Something different.
But if I find out information from the future, whatever present I live, regardless of it being the same path or the alternate, path, it's still my present that I'm living. So I wouldn't know the difference. Yeah, I'm doing that one.
I think that's all.
Flash. Ruining it for everybody.
Yeah, I'd rather not set off a strand and end up in a shitty TV show like Loki season 1. So that's
that too, or just end up in a really bad CGI fight over and over again, So, and then fight yourself with some sort of demon monster or whatever hell
for over and over every season.
Which one of these would you for a prize of $100 million? Let's say the two of you are teaming up. Okay. The two of you are teaming up. You must win a fight to the death. Which of these opponents would you like? Would you like 8 unarmed clones of yourself? So either one of you. Prime Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. 2 angry Filipino men with machetes. Or a 20-foot-long saltwater crocodile. Who you fighting?
I don't know about you, Prime, but I limited that to the crocodile and the 8 versions of me.
I was going for the crocodile because I think I could handle the croc. I
watched a lot of Crocodile Hunter, okay? Steve Irwin taught me a lot.
I would not want to fight 8 clone if they know everything that I know. I guess that's the do they know what I know? If they know what I know, then hell no, I'm not fighting 8 of me. Yeah. I'm not telling you the difference.
They're gonna see that kick in the balls coming.
There's a lot of pain in these hands. No, yeah, no,
they're gonna go like your right leg is a little bit worse than the left one. They're gonna know all your weaknesses.
Myself would just punch me right in the heart, and I'd be done. Well, that's it. That's it for me.
Yeah, I think crocodile's the easy answer there. Definitely not Prime Rock.
No.
See, my daughter was like, "What about the Filipinos with the machetes?" I was like, "Do you know how fast they are?
Right.
They are not me, but them.
They'll slice open an artery real quick. It'll be over.
That'd be it. Yeah, I think I would probably have to take. You don't think we could outsmart the Rock? A saltwater crocodile, a 20-foot saltwater crocodile.
Prime Rock would destroy your confidence and then fuck you up.
Yeah, he would cut a promo and then kill you.
And then fucking kill you. Yeah.
Be a multiple rock bottom, just all of us lined up, just one.
And again, back to the heart thing, Phil. You cannot survive a people's elbow. That is a death.
That's true.
That is a death sentence.
Now we got beaten up and our feelings are hurt.
Right. And it was on national television.
All right, last one here. I'll throw this one out. I actually stole this from Barstool. If you could put any franchise restaurant in your home, what would it be?
Oh, I got my answer. I want to hear Prime's first. I got mine though. You already know what it is, Phil.
Do I?
Any franchise?
Any franchise.
Oh man, I am torn. I'm gonna go with Qdoba.
Oh man, what a great answer! God, I missed those.
I am obsessed with. I mean, there's a couple that still exist now. I would want it the Qdoba the way they were like 10 years ago because they took away the loaded gumbo. Like they don't do it anymore. That was the best thing. I used to do they had a craft 2 menu. I'm such a fatty. I'm talking about this. They had a thing they called the craft 2 where you could pick 2 different items. So I would get the smaller little like loaded tortilla soup, and then I would get 2 of the crunchy tacos. But one taco would be the carnitas, and the other one would be the shredded pork.
Ooh.
Because I wanted all of my flavors in one shot. So that's how because I'd put the chicken on top of the soup.
I don't know how you feel about about Chipotle and Moe's, but the fact that those have stuck around and we lost a lot of Qdobas is pretty disappointing.
Moe's isn't bad. I think if you go into Moe's knowing that you're not getting like anywhere close to authentic like Mexican flavor, then you're good.
Solid. Yeah. And if you're okay with dry chips and shitty salsa, that is free.
Like I would take pancheros over those, but I don't know if we have those out here.
I don't think so.
Because pancheros, they make the tortilla like fresh right there. They have the dough and then they press it and cook it right there, and then oh my god! So they have their own like green salsa, like hot sauce. It's called green grenade sauce. So worth it.
All right, Eric, what's your let me throw out mine that I kind of thought about.
Go.
Because I originally had thought like I would go with something like a that was very like rich. I was thinking because I'm a slut for Olive Garden. I don't care that it's not authentic. I'm a sucker for Alfredo sauce and breadsticks.
Pasta and soup and
breadsticks
in your house.
I don't care that it's not authentic, but I kind of went with. I thought about doing something where I could have a lot of variety, and I thought about what if I had a Wawa in my house.
Ooh,
like I think that would be pretty solid.
Not bad.
I don't know if you would just because I don't think that's just a gas station, right? So I think I would go Wawa.
Wawa's not bad. Feels like cheating.
You guys are cute. I come from New Jersey, where the Wawas up there didn't always have gas stations. Everybody else knows they have a gas station. They were not just a gas station. They originally started out as a steel mill back in. No, there's a crazy history. Yeah, it's true. And then they became a dairy farm, and then the history was made, and now they make sandwiches and pump your gas.
There you go.
Well, that's
crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. No, mine is easy. Mine is if you know it, you know it. It's Cookout. I want Cookout.
I didn't even think of Cookout.
Great.
The burgers, the fries, the hot dogs, the milkshakes.
Cookout is so inexpensive. You could probably actually do that now. You understand that? Right? You could probably just do it.
They'd just build your house around one.
Can I get a franchise sack? It'd be like $200, and they just be
probably. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. It has crossed my mind. I didn't crunch the numbers, but it has crossed my mind to open up a Cookout.
Yo, especially out here, let me know. I'll be your #1 customer. Jeez, man.
All right, bet.
Man, it just doesn't cross into Florida for some reason. I don't know what the reason is, but
who knows?
Yeah. Something dark, probably.
Something we don't want to know.
But yeah, this was a blast, a fun way to end the episode. I know, Prime, you're going to be on Twitch here shortly, entertaining the masses even further. So I want to ask you before we kind of wrap it up, what can people expect from you other than just NakamaCon and a couple of things that you plugged so far? Any final plugs that you want to mention? Maybe up till the end of the year, like anything you got going on. And again, we'll have all your links in the show notes, but let our audience know what you're up to, for the end of the year.
Sure. I guess the most immediate one, even once this episode airs, we're going to be doing a Castlevania Vampire Masquerade at Nakama on October 28th. And I want everybody to come out. You don't have to come dressed as a vampire or one of the Belmonts. You can just come in your favorite cosplay. We're even asking, like, if you want to like put vampire fangs to like Luffy or something, I'm totally down for that being the cosplay. We're doing a cosplay contest and Smash Brothers tournament and all that stuff. So that's kind of, I guess, the most immediate one. After that, I'm going to be all over the place, huh? Urban Action Showcase, which is a martial arts themed convention, is going to be in New York City. If you're in that area, if anybody's listening in New York City, congratulations. This podcast is even more amazing than they realize. So that is probably my next one in November. And then I will be actually Fan Expo San Francisco. And then
awesome.
There's stuff I can't say for December. Poop. January, I think I'm kicking off the year with another Fan Expo New Orleans and then MegaCon. And then there's a couple.
Oh yeah,
other things
MegaCon's
on
in February next year,
Mhm.
isn't it?
Yeah,
Or they
Gotta
February.
moved
get
it.
used to that.
Boy,
Yeah, they're trying to figure out the best time of year, as well as just, I think, how to maintain comfort for everybody. Because Florida's
That's-
like,
yeah,
hey,
we
we're just
didn't go
hot.
last. Yeah, we didn't go last year just because of the crowds and the heat and.
There was a lot
year,
last year.
They
the year
gotta figure that
previous
out.
was enough of a hint for us to say like, okay, we're gonna
Yeah.
wait till they get that all in order.
And we got an Airbnb and everything, and we were pretty close, and it was still.
Remember,
it's hard.
the year we went, which was the year before this one. It wasn't even near the amount of celebrities that they had. So when they kept
No.
announcing it, which is awesome, by the way, super cool. But yeah, we started seeing it and we were like, oh, if it was bad and we didn't have the entire cast of Daredevil and the Punisher here,
And yeah,
probably going to be really bad.
Yeah, I'm curious
Yeah,
to see
so-
who they're going to push for next year, because they're still kind of riding strong on the Star Wars for this year.
Mhm.
And I know because of the SAG-AFTRA strikes, a lot of people had to do some cancellations and stuff.
yeah.
I had the opportunity to actually meet Hayden Christensen for his big one in Denver.
Oh, cool.
Like
Hell yeah.
right before all that stuff kind of kicked off. I've met Emily Swallow, who is the armorer from The Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
She's super nice people. I helped her out with one of her karaoke events, and she's super nice. So nice, actually. In fact, for the Castlevania thing, she actually gave me 2 autographed pictures, because she is also the voice of Lisa, the Bride of Dracula from the Castlevania anime.
Let's go.
So I'm giving those away as prizes.
That's what I love about the convention scene is just all the relationships that you get to build, all the things that come from it. Especially if you're just really passionate about what you do, you're good at what you do, and you're just nice to people. Like we've learned that very much. Like that's really all it takes. And we got one of the good ones here with Prime. So Prime, I want to thank you so much for jumping on and giving us your time. Phil, if you'll let everyone know where they can find more episodes of the Wait For It podcast, we'll go ahead and do a couple shout outs, end the episode. And then again, just a friendly reminder, we'll have an after credits. I did not forget. We're going to talk about that DJ story before we let you go. So Phil, take it away.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining us for the October edition of Creator Spotlight. Shout out to Prime again for joining us. Everything that you need as far as his links will be in the show notes of this episode, which is also where you will find our link tree. You'll find everything you need as far as our social media pages. We're most active on TikTok and Instagram. You can also find all the rest of our content if you want to catch up on any other episodes. And if you want to support us a little bit more, head on over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, leave us those 5-star reviews, shoots us up the podcast charts, lets them know that we are doing a good job. But if you want to find yourself maybe supporting the show a little bit more, such as our patrons Briar and Stefan do, Eric will let you know how to do that.
Yeah, just same link in the show notes. You can go straight to our Buzzsprout page and support us there, or you can support us directly on Patreon, where you'll be able to get exclusive access to unedited and early access versions of episodes like this one. And we truly appreciate the support, guys. We can't wait to see you at NakamaCon and Brick City in February and everything we've got going on next. I want to give a big shout out to our guest, DJ Awesomus Prime, for jumping on. And please don't forget, guys, my name is Mr. Eric Almighty. That is my co-host, Phil the Filipino. And we release new episodes every Wednesday on the podcast, plus bonus content on platforms like TikTok. And all you have to do is wait for it.
So, I heard you're looking for a go-to source for entertainment.
Wait for it.
Gaming?
Wait for it.
Anime?
Plus Ultra!
Mr. Eric Almighty and Phil the Filipino? Yeah, they've got you covered. And all you gotta do is wait for it. This is the Wait For It podcast.